I'm really excited. I think like bringing that energy of being like, all right, let's try this new, let's do this, let's bring this. I'm just excited to kind of put those pieces there. My name is Chelsea Bowdren, and I am a member of the Rogue Ensemble.
And what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was very little, I wanted to be a marine biologist. And then I got sick on an oceanography trip. So I realized that career was done for. And then I wanted to be a professional soccer player. And I played soccer for about 6-7 years. And then when that I was 16 when I stopped, when that kind of came to an end was right around the time I started getting more involved in theater at school. And then I realized, oh, this is more for me. So, yeah.
And what do you do for a living these days?
I work for a professional soccer team. So it all kind of, I've always been a fan of soccer. I realized it wasn't written in the stars for me to play, but I've always been, a couple steps removed and really excited to watch, especially watch the women's team and how much they've grown and how they are just an incredible national team. So it's always been one that I've been really excited to kind of find a way back to.
Did anything translate directly over from soccer to theater?
Yeah, well, I've always, I'll always consider theater to be a team sport because there's so many people involved and you really have to have, everyone be on their A game and also be able to have that give and take. And while in soccer, there's a lot of, strategic scenarios, at the end of it is you want to be able to complete and hopefully win. And I think in theater, the idea is to complete the show and have an experience for those that are watching. So there are some similar parallels, less headbutting in theater. But it was something that I think was an oddly easy transition because of it, because that's always just sort of how I viewed theater in general.
And you're not the only actor in your family, are you?
I am not, no. My older brother, Matt, everyone knows and loves here. Matt introduced me to theater in several different spaces in my life, and I'm really fortunate to be able to have such a great, not only actor, but coach and director and friend, on speed dial. And, It's a really cool resource to have. That said, I'm excited to introduce myself as myself. And, it's so lovely. Everyone is, especially here in the audience here, they're really excited, have been very welcoming of me and excited to see what I get to do and what I can do. And, it would be a dream to work with Matt in some capacity here, playing siblings in the future. But
like many in our ensemble, you were trained as an actor at the U of A.
Correct.
What was the biggest impact that training had on you?
I would say probably the most impactful thing, though, was the people and the experiences that I had with them, because you can see the same show over and over again, but if you bring in different people and their experiences and their scenarios, you're going to get something different each time. The program that I was in and the people that I was involved in the program with were so incredibly talented and were so generous with how they brought themselves to the space and to classes. And so I often think back of I might not remember the phrasing of what is this, but I remember walking through that with an actor in my class, or having discussions around being super nerds and having discussions at lunch about what we just talked about and how it really resonates. So those memories and those experiences, I think, are what really impacted me the most.
Your first play here was Immortal, Longings in
Yes.
2009. What was that like?
I didn't realize how impactful it was for me because I had never worked on a show at that point where it was a full female cast. And it was really wonderful for me to be able to be part of something and see how so many different women are able to do the thing that they love and to be really good at it and to be able to do that in a town that they love. And it was just really wonderful. The environment was super welcoming. I was still in like my actor training at U of A, so I think there were times where I was like, okay, let me write everything down, let me do this, and definitely helpful. But just being able to like walk into a space and not have a feeling of competition, but like of camaraderie, was really, really special. And so it was also the last show before the Rogue moved into this space. So it was really fun energy to be part of that kind of like closing of one door and opening of another. And I got to play a lot of male Shakespeare roles in that. I played Rosalind, who played all the male roles in some of the scenarios and scenes. And it was cool to be able to be like, oh, this is a part I wouldn't be cast in. And I get to do something a little new and different and creative with that. So it was really special.
I think it was when I first met you. You were playing Laertes to Matt's Hamlet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That was... I got a concussion in that show. So.
Oh, you did?
I did.
How did that happen? Was that something to do with the tub, or...?
It was...
Because Ophelia was in a bathtub?
Yeah, there was a tub on stage. No, it was totally my fault, but it was in a fight scene with Matt.
Yeah.
Matt played Hamlet, I played Laertes, and there was something where he like picked me up and shoved me down on the stage, and I like hit my neck in a certain way.
God.
Very, very lucky that I was like not hurt more than getting a concussion, but ever since then it's been very safety first for old Chelsea.
As an actor, what do you think you bring to the ensemble here that might be unique to you?
I would say like a new perspective to things. I'm really excited to find where I continue to fit in and find those spaces. I feel a real sense of comfort on stage, and so I think because of that, I am able to find these moments and these pieces. But I think a lot of it is just, where I am right now. When I was younger, I've always played characters that were older. So like when I was younger, I was always playing at least 10, 15 years older. So now being like in my mid 30s and feeling like the parts that I am drawn to make sense for me right now. And because of that, I think there's more, I feel like I have a more honest connection to it, as opposed to like, in college I was playing someone's grandmother, and it's like, those you can, and you give it your all, you do all the research you can, but at some point there is just like, the suspension of disbelief is real. And so you find, I think by getting to this place in my life and getting to this sense of comfort and having the foundational support, but also this excitement and this energy to want to continue to learn and want to continue to find those moments. I just kind of feel like everything's kind of aligning for me in that way.
What's the best acting advice or direction you've ever been given?
I don't know if it's actual like, here is a sentence that really resonated with me.
Right.
But I've realized that I've always had these moments within a performance or within a rehearsal process, I should say, where the director has recognized that I am doing something to hold myself back that I haven't recognized yet. Like, I might be giving it 85% thinking I'm giving 100, and they are able to like tap in and find that extra percentage to help me really connect to what I'm doing. And so to me, it's always just this like constant reminder that those people that are directing you or the people around you, like everyone here is to make sure that the story is told and the points are made, and the questions are asked. So always just to like have in my back pocket, like this recognition of I come into a space and I have trust for people. And then there's always a moment where I'm like, oh, now you trust me and I trust you. There is that thing where it's like, then it feels, and after that it feels like really, really connected, and everything else just kind of makes sense. And it's usually when I'm just about to start putting my script down. So it like kind of, I think that's one of the reasons why it's always a favorite time of mine. It's just that kind of that moment where everything clicks. And it's always because of someone helping to guide me there and be like, this is the path. Yes, you're walking down the correct way, or hey, let's make a pivot here. So,
do you read reviews?
No.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Why not?
Every time you walk into this space and every show is, it's this really special moment for everyone that's there, and then it's done. And while I think reviews are lovely to like encapsulate that, that is just like one experience and one person's perspective. So it's I just love having, you kind of get a review every night, when you come to the talkbacks.
What advice would you give your 18-year-old self now about making a life in the theater?
I describe myself as taking the scenic route, and I would say that taking the scenic route is okay, and you don't have to have everything figured out at 18, because you don't, and you're not going to. And that if where I thought I would be at my life at this point when I was 18, I think I would be wildly unhappy. And that if you're not including in building the formula of success, if like happiness is not the main component, then you're not going to be successful regardless of where in the world in theater you are. So just always remember that. So,
is there a part you've played before that you'd like to again with more experience behind you?
Yes and no. I think I could play Kate in Taming of the Shrew better, but I don't know if I'd want to. That's kind of, I think it would be a very, there would have to be a very specific point of view and a lot of conversations ahead of time, I think, in order to feel connected enough to the part to be able to do it justice.
What's a character you're completely wrong for that you'd love to play someday?
Oh, I don't know. This is not me being like, I'm good for every part.
No.
I'm just trying to think. Oh, I mean, I would love to be Malvolio. That's a fun part. That's a really kooky part.
What's it like to be...
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I know. I don't remember the character's name, but the main character in Jerusalem.
Rooster,
yes.
Yeah.
I had an incredible privilege to be able to see that in New York. And afterwards I watched it and I was like, and it was this complete silence. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do that, but I would love to do that. So
That's a really fun
basically any role Joe McGrath has played apparently is what I'm saying.
What's it like to be a sponsored actor at the Rogue?
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. It's a real honor, truly, because, people can make investments, and if they choose to make investments, it's because there is a passion for it and a care and consideration for it. And so knowing that there are people in this community that want to see and want to support arts in Tucson in that way is just so wonderful, because they could really go multiple places, and people are choosing to make an investment here and making an investment to not only to the actors, but to the stage managers, to the designers. And it really just shows you how celebrated this space is and this theater is, that people want to see the Rogue be completely successful. And I think it also is a huge opportunity for Tucson, because I think so often people don't think of Tucson, or are beginning to think more of Tucson as a creative place, and as they don't have to go to a big city, but they can see quality theater that really makes them question and makes them want to come back. And it also provides opportunity for actors in other places to be able to come be financially supported and to make a career in this space. And it's not somewhere that they have to leave. they get to stay in Tucson. So I think, short term, it's very heartwarming and fulfilling. And then really long term, it's incredibly fulfilling because it's going to make, I think, huge inroads in other places, in other ways.